Today we're going to talk about why you should accept your first software developer job. This is especially true for aspiring developers that are self-taught or those of you that are coming out of a bootcamp school. And I do want to say that if you have 10 minutes to spare, please watch this video in its full entirety. There's so many little mistakes that you can make when starting your career as a software developer that you don't want to make. Whether it be the mindset or financial expectations or finding a company that aligns with your values, we're going to be hitting all of those topics right now. Lastly, when I do mention about accepting your first software developer position, it's under the context that they're going to be paying you as a software engineer. I'm not a fan of free internships or free coding jobs or free fellowships, whatever you want to name it. That is not cool in my book. As a last resort, if you've exhausted all your options and you really can't seem to find any type of work experience, do I recommend taking one of those free internship jobs. But if you can avoid it, I would definitely avoid those. This is going to be more in the context of someone paying you money to work and build their product. So let's move on to the first reason why you should accept your first developer job.
Also, if you like videos like this, hit the like and subscribe. Thank you.
Key point number one is getting a job as a junior software developer is going to be very difficult with no work experience. The reality is that as a aspiring developer that is self-taught or even coming out of a bootcamp school, you're going to be relatively low on the totem pole. What I mean by that is that recruiters are not going to be clamoring over you and sending you messages, calling you on the phone or emailing you with all these job options, because a lot of times companies that go through recruiters are generally hiring mid to senior level developers. If anything, as a aspiring developer that's looking for a job, you kind of have to go outside of the box to get yourself noticed, whether it be attending meetups, contributing to a community of software developers, establishing those connections, applying nonstop on Indeed, LinkedIn, and whatever job search engines that are out there. You're going to have to grind yourself to get noticed. This job process, on top of still learning how to write code, is going to be very exhausting mentally and physically. So if you are able to get an interview and you're able to get a job offer, I would view it like winning the lottery. The thing is, employers who hire junior developers are more taking a chance on you as opposed to trying to get you for your technical expertise. It's an employer's commitment to the junior developer that we're gonna groom you and help you grow as a software engineer to become someone that can contribute and make meaningful impact for the team. Now that we've established that landing that first developer job is going to be very difficult, it leads to my second point that you don't know when you're going to get your second or third or fourth interview. It might be possible that you are a rock star and suddenly you have 3 to 4 interviews. You're gonna feel very confident about yourself and say, look, I could just wait for something that is more preferable and things like that. But what if in a situation like that, you suddenly don't get any offers from any of those companies you interviewed at, and now you're suddenly in a dry spell? No matter how many recruiters you're talking to, no matter how many jobs you're applying to, you can't seem to catch that fish of landing that first job. And it's all because you decided that maybe this job wasn't right for me. If you reject a legitimate paid offer because you don't want to work in that tech stack, or it's not a company that I'm interested in, or the financial expectations are not quite what I wanted, then you're really viewing your first developer job in the wrong way. This is an opportunity of a lifetime where you could be working with mid to senior level developers, working on production level code bases, learning from them, and making a significant contribution. Like I said again, imagine rejecting all those offers and you run into a dry spell. Not only do you have to keep applying to jobs, but you have to make sure your coding skills are not rusty. You're going to have to juggle job applying and keeping up with your code skills, which can be very detrimental to your career, your health, and overall lifestyle. It's the equivalent of playing a very difficult game. You spend weeks and months leveling up your character. You've gotten to the point where you actually beat the boss, and all you need to do is click yes to confirm that you won, but then your console suddenly shuts down. Imagine how much you might feel if you didn't save and you have to start all over again. That's the same thing about this job process and interview process, specifically for junior developers. There's a lot more pressure to find that first job versus your second or your third or fourth. So don't squander that opportunity where you can avoid having to go through that process again. As someone that has graduated from a coding bootcamp and has moved on to different companies, I've never really felt that same experience that I felt right after graduating, of that pressure of trying to find that first job. Now in my stage, it's significantly different from when it was before. And that leads to my third point of viewing your first developer job as an investment in yourself. I want to break this misconception out there that you're guaranteed a $100,000 salary on your first developer job. There might be opportunities like that if you're working at a FAANG company like Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and what's the G? Google? Yeah, it's Google. So if you get a job like that, then yeah, you're going to be making $100,000 plus, but it's very difficult to get into those jobs. So try to temper your expectations about what kind of positions are available out there. Although your first job may not be what you financially expected of $100,000, I would view your first job as the road to 100K. As you get more experience and as you start to understand how to become a better developer and find your niche within this technological ecosystem, you're eventually going to be able to hit those numbers that you were imagining that software developers make. I would view getting that first job like buying a stock. When you buy a stock, you're buying that stock at what is perceived to be a cheaper price, and with the expectation that this price of the stock is going to appreciate. Think of that in the same way for yourself. Take that salary that may not be as high as you expected, but while you're working at the job, become a better software developer. Absorb the knowledge that you would get from your senior and your mid-level developers, and learn about what it really means to become a professional software developer. Once you've invested in yourself and not taking that gas off the pedal to become a better software developer, you could eventually justify higher salaries like that 100K because you are very skilled at what you do. One of the things that is also nice when you're investing in yourself as a software developer is that you're getting paid. Yes, it may not be the 100K, but you're still getting paid. As long as you're able to put a roof over your head and eat comfortably breakfast, lunch, and dinner, use this opportunity as a learning investment to eventually get to that number. Appreciate your own skills to get to whatever you want. If you don't accept your first job offer and run into a dry spell of trying to land that first job, yes, you can be very self-disciplined and you may be very diligent in your studies, but nothing will beat working with people that are more experienced than you. It's like having a cheat code. You could just absorb all their knowledge and they'll just tell it to you for free. You are getting paid and you're learning for free. This is mind-blowing because generally if you're in coding boot camps, you're only working with people that are in similar experiences than you, and there may be like 2 TAs and 1 main teacher, but they can't teach everybody, right? But when you're working at a company and you're only 3 to 4 months in as a software developer and you're talking to someone that's like 5 years in the industry, it's just common sense that you're going to be learning way more than contributing. So take advantage of, if you're working on the front end, learn about front end design, front end data modeling. If you're working in the back end, learn about microservices or query languages, the overall architecture of your production level code base. I will not look at your first developer job from a pure financial perspective. If anything, that's the last thing on my mind, as long as I have a roof over my head and I can eat. Those are like the 2 basic needs I need. Other than that, will be an opportunity for you to just learn. The last point that I want to make of why you should accept your first developer job is once you start officially working, everything just becomes so much easier. When you're first applying to jobs with no work experience, I did mention this before, you are coding and you are applying to jobs. This is a very stressful situations. But once you start working, you can slap that official software engineer title on your LinkedIn page. Once you slap that job title on your LinkedIn page, the recruiters will be coming. And dare I say that it will start to get annoying.
Oh, already? Recruiters move fast these days.
Messages left and right, whether it be through your phone, email, LinkedIn, it starts getting to your head. And this is kind of one of the luxuries of being a software developer, is that you start to get options. And that is the key difference between someone with no work experience trying to find a job and someone with at least one position as an official software developer looking for a job. You as a software developer are in a position where you can say no to recruiters. before getting that first job, you're probably saying yes to all recruiters because, let's be honest, you're probably really desperate to find that first job. But once you've gotten that first job, you have the options to say, no, I want to switch jobs because this pay is less than what I'm getting now. Or two, you could say, this company doesn't align with my values. I want to join a company that will pay me financially what I'm worth, and I want to work at a company that makes sense for me. You don't get that luxury when you're trying to find that first job because you have no leverage whatsoever. Let me repeat that. You have no leverage. Ideally, you're going to be in a situation where you've learned a lot from your company, staying there for 6 months to 2 years, and now you can justify moving on to a new company with a larger salary or asking your current company for more money because you were able to contribute XYZ on big features that made a significant impact on your company's business. Landing you that first job will just put you in a significant better position than you not having a job. It will give you the most important thing that you didn't have before, which is options. When you get that first job, you're going to get paid, you're going to learn, you're going to contribute. Lastly, you have the luxury of choosing whatever you want to do with your career at that point because the options are there. I hope that this convinced you to take that first job offer. If small things like financial incentives or company alignment is blocking you from accepting that job offer, I would recommend just taking it and start looking elsewhere while you have your job. If you find yourself happy and enjoying the work experience, then that's a plus. If not, at least you're getting paid and you can start looking for other opportunities while you're at the company. It's significantly less pressure to find that second job than the first job. So if you can, take that first job offer and see what happens after. You can hate it, you can love it, but it's probably going to still be a better position than you were at previously. If you've been in a similar situation of whether or not you should accept your first job offer, let me know what you decided. Did you accept that job offer? Do you regret it? Was it the best decision you ever made? Either way, I would like to know what other people think about this topic. If you like content like this, hit that like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.